Hello and welcome to Mangatora 96, and today we're going to talk about high school DxD. It's time to talk about the former second ranker of the rating games, the former head of the Belphegor clan, who is now a part of Issa's team in the Azazel Cup, with her being a potential new addition to Issa's ever-growing harem. If she ever joins, she will fall into the category of the Onesans, together with Akeno, Rias, Uroka and Rosweise. I'm of course talking about Roygun. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as we'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with an overview on who Roygun is. Roygun Belphegor is the former head of the Belphegor clan, the former second ranker of the rating games, and a former ultimate class devil. She reached the top of the rating games through her king piece before being stripped of her rank and her titles for cheating in the rating games due to it. She was also shunned from her household. Roygun appeared to be a kind and noble woman. Unlike Badass, she didn't have a rebellious side, as she tried to stop Badass from attacking the Bell clan and take down those who used the king piece. She became remorseful after she helped the rating games corruption come into play, yet despite this, she didn't have regret, as she wanted to use the king piece for fun. She is said to love younger males from their teens to their 20s, as seen when she openly flirted with Issa for having a cute face in front of the female members of his team. Roygun holds a great deal of love for the rating game, even though she used the king piece to obtain power. Her love for the games were shown when she pledged herself, her servants in front of Issa to be his retainer, to be able to participate in the Azazel Cup, as she can't let go of the rating games which she loves so much. She also has a pretty laid-back personality, as even though she was shunned from her household, it just caused her to become inconveniently depressed. Roygun is shown to be very wise and intelligent, as she was able to gain information on secret gears even before Heaven and Grigory made an announcement on them, something that surprises her team leader Issa. Sometimes before the series, she became the head of the House of Belphegor, and at some point she became the second champion of the rating game. Unbeknownst to everyone, she was using the king piece to win. As for her abilities, due to the usage of her king piece, Roygun was able to gain immense demonic power that allowed her to rise to the top of the rating games as the second strongest as a result. Her demonic power was noted to be Satin class, as she is superior to Baddest Abdon, another user of the king piece, and was second only to Diehauser Belial. She is renowned as one of the strong beauties of the underworld, along with Graphia and Seraphil. In Volume 25, Roygun's power has decreased as she returned her king piece. As a member of the Belphegor clan, she has shown incredible mastery in creating a tier on anything. However, she is limited against those who are more powerful than her, such as Satans and God-class beings. Using this is what helped her become the second ranker rating game champion until it was revealed that she used a king piece. In True Volume 2, Roygun created a technique that expanded the damage on her opponents. She was shown to be highly intelligent, as she is capable of gaining information even on the number of sacred gears that have increased, as well as Heaven and Grigory's research on sacred gears. She also gained intel on how Gasper's sacred gear now has a Longinus certification. As for her role in the story, Roygun was first mentioned in Volume 10 as the second ranked champion of the rating game in the top 10. However, she first appeared in Volume 21 during the Evil Dragon War, as she attempted to stop Badass Abdon from pushing the corruption of the rating game towards the Bell clan, but arrived too late as Sarok had already beaten him. She then brings Badass to the guards instead. In Volume 23, she reappeared through a magic circle and the training area underneath the Gramarye Castle. She has been put under surveillance for her involvement with the rating game scandal due to using a king piece. She handed a pile of documents regarding Rudiger Rosenkreuz, who is Julius Scotch, and starts taking an interest in Issa, saying he has a cute face as she likes it. After Issa is taken away from her by Ravel, she asks if Issa doesn't like older women because she's over a century old, to which Issa responds that he sees her as a beautiful Onesan in her early 20s, much to Roygun's happiness. She advised Issa that with Rudiger as a supervisor for Dulier's team, they cannot underestimate them. Roygun then leaves and says that she will be cheering for Issa and his team no matter the outcome. When she was leaving, she winked at Issa. She appeared before Issa again at the Hyodor residence and pledged herself and her servants under Issa as his subordinates and joins his team for the Rating Game World Tournament. In Volume 24, she assists Issa and the rest in acting as bodyguards at the Fafnir Stadium against the Grim Reapers led by Thanatos or after Koneko and Kuroka during Rias and Vali's match. In Volume 25, Roygun participated in the secret meeting of the Team Red Dragon Emperor of the Blazing True. She was laying on Issa's bed and watching TV while mentioning a rumor about how the number of Longinus wielders is increasing. She explained that the research on the secret gear that was done by Heaven and Grigory had been confirmed several species that have been deviated from normal secret gears. She later informed the team that Gasper got his Longinus certification. Roygun took part of the training session held by Audrek Belzebub in the cell phone game called Belzebut, as their training space and both teams were guided by Oreo and Akire. When Oreo explained that the Belzebut is based on a certain secret gear, which Roygun believes is Innovation Clear, which is one of the Longinus, this surprises Oreo when he agrees. She later asked Oreo if he is currently investigating the two missing Innovation Clear and Telos Karma, which he nodded and began to think the 13th Longinus is heretical or a Longinus crowned with a forbidden number which she heard is bad. She later joins her team in Valhalla at the Thor Stadium for preparation in the match against the team Lasher of the King. When Ravel asked her about her clan's specialty on crack, the tier on anything, Roygun responded that there's a limit on what she can do at her current level if her opponents are either Satan class or God class. When the match started, she started to fly with Boa, Grafia, Ashia and Elminhilde to one of the artificial Yggdrasil's floating islands. Roygun together with Boa and Elminhilde decided to be Typhoon's first opponents. Typhoon began his attack by launching his weather abilities, with Roygun using her crack ability on the strong winds and the flashes of lightning to stray off towards other directions. This made Typhoon stop using his weather abilities and use his fire breath instead, but it was divided into numerous parts due to Roygun using crack again. She was being praised by Typhoon for countering all his attacks despite being weaker than him, and she elegantly laughed as she said, "You're welcome." Roygun was eventually defeated due to her exhaustion and later collapsed because of her lack of stamina. She then participated in the celebration at the Hyodor residence to celebrate with her team for passing the preliminaries of the tournament along with the rival teams. She reappeared in True Volume 1 as she was trusted to watch over the Hyodor residence along with Oreo, with some doubt that she would be any use. After Nyx was defeated, she and her team arrived at the Agares territory and learned from the tournament bracket that they will be facing Rias and her team in the first match. In True Volume 2, Roygun appeared in Issa's dream of him marrying his brides, with her appearing among the second group of Issa's brides and stating one of her goals is to marry a younger man. In the morning, she went to do some training in the training space on her own. Then following day, Roygun went with her team to the training camp in the mountain for their training, with her inviting Grafia to train with her and unleashing the strongest devil aura in the process. The next morning of their third day of the training, Roygun assisted on making breakfast due to her research of cooking and continued her training with Grafia. After finishing their training, Roygun and her team watched the match between Cyrok and his team and Team Shooting Star. With her explaining about the team lived in obscurity back in their respective mythologies, and one of the members is a low-class devil that couldn't go to school and has the job of taking care of boulders in the wastelands. She and her team arrived at the Opie Dragon Stadium in the Gremory territory for their upcoming match against Rias and her team. They eventually met up with Issa's parents, who came to watch their match, and she and the team watched the hostility between Oreo and Mitsui Kanzaki. When the match began, Roygun and her team were transported to the artificial Hyodor residence as their HQ and started to discuss about their strategy. After they given a simple strategy by Ravel, Roygun gave acknowledgement to Issa and his speech by stating she'll be looking forward to their pro rating game. Under the instruction by Ravel, She and Boa started to scout around the artificial court town, and they were ambushed by Rias in her forbidden invid Balor, the princess form, Yuto and Lind, and caused Boa to retire from their attacks. She told her team to get back to the residence and decided to fight Rias, Yuto and Lind alone, but was easily defeated and as a result began retiring, but not before using her new technique of her crack ability to expand the damage of her opponents. Roygun and her team celebrated their victory at a Hyodo residence together with Rias and her team, and they later watched the match between Team Belial and Black Satan of Darkness Dragon King, with Dihauser emerging victorious. When Issa and Oryu began talking to Grefia and telling him that she won't make it to the next match, Roygun realized the rumors about her resting at the Gramarye Castle were true. In True Volume 3, she became a temporary nurse at Ko Academy, and reading Issa's perverted thoughts, she bewitchingly tells him to come to the nurse office if anything happens and she can help heal his virginity, which made Issa excited. She used her magic to make her horns disappear and agrees to Issa about contacting him if anything happens. During the battle against Airbus Group, Roygun and the second-year students and her fellow school staff Rose Weiss gathered in the uninhabited forest of Yoshimizu's shrine to wait for their enemies to appear and listen to the conversation of the group, considering the second-year students to be amazing like the third-year students, and developed herself in a demonic aura to fight against the artificial devils as they finally appeared and used her crack on the artificial devils. As for her relationship with Dihauser Belial, Roygun has a strong respect for Dihauser for not only being the first champion of the rating game but his love for the games. Despite Dihauser exposing her usage of the King piece that made her exile from her clan and unable to participate in her own rating game, Roygun did not hold a grudge against him and still continues to respect him. As for her relationship with Rudiger Rosenkreuz, Rudiger is one of the rating game's players that Roygun respects. She is shown to be well aware of his strategies as she gives Issa all the information she knew about him, as well as warning Issa not to underestimate Team Trump Card of Heaven due to the fact that Rudiger's supervision of the team would make them formidable opponents, showcasing her respect for him. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Roygun. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.